In this video, I'm going to show you how you can see your success before it happens. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and get a crystal ball or anything like that. That's not what I have in mind at all. What I'm suggesting is that you use the power of your mind to achieve your goals. And this technique is called visualization. And the theory behind it is that if you see your goal, you're going to be more likely to complete it. So you want to use your imagination, but don't just see yourself completing the task. Imagine how it feels when you've accomplished your goal. It feels pretty good, doesn't it, generally? Let me give you some examples of this in action. Now, you can use this technique in sports, and lots of professional sports people do actually use it. So, for example, if you're running a marathon, imagine how good it's going to feel when you cross that finish line ahead of everybody else. The feeling of euphoria that you're going to get as you break the tape and you run across in front of everybody else. You'll be exhausted, you'll be tired, but it'll be a real sense of accomplishment. Imagine how proud you're going to feel when they put the medal around your neck. That's the sort of thing. So you can see the goal, you can see that's what you want. Same thing in swimming. If you're in the swimming pool, you're swimming the lengths, you're swimming in a swimming gala or something like that, and you can feel yourself going through the water. You feel the water going past you. You reach for the side of the pool and you touch that side of the pool in front of everybody else, ahead of everybody else. Yes, you've done it. The feeling is feeling pretty good. You have a really good sense of accomplishment. Or if you play football or soccer, as it's called in some countries, imagine yourself actually scoring the goal. You can see yourself running up the field, dribbling the ball. You see your foot kick the football. It goes through the air, sails through the air, goes past the top of the goalie's fingers and in the back of the net. And yes, I've done it. That's the sort of feeling, the feeling of euphoria, the feeling of accomplishment. You know what it's going to feel like. And you can actually see yourself doing this. You can see yourself either from your own perspective, or you can see yourself from a perspective as an onlooker. Some people find that a good way to do this when they're using the visualization techniques in sports. But either way, you see yourself accomplishing the task and you feel how good it feels to actually go ahead and do that, to score the goal, to win the race, that sort of thing. And you can use this technique in business. Imagine the sense of satisfaction that you're going to get, the sense of excitement that you're going to get when you close that deal or when you sign the contract. Imagine the sense of pride that you're going to feel when you watch your product going into production. You can actually now physically see the fruits of your labor. You can see your idea being made if you're making a physical product, or if you're making a digital product. Imagine how you're going to feel the first time you see somebody actually using your app or playing your video game or watching your video, that sort of thing. Imagine how good it's going to feel when you move into your swanky new offices and you can show people around and say, yes, this is my business. This is what I do. This is the company I built up from nothing. Imagine the pride in that. Imagine how it's going to be when you can open your checkbook and write yourself a check for however much you want, knowing that you've got the funds to pay for it because your business is so successful. That's the sort of thing that you can visualize in business. That's how you can use this sort of technique. Imagine the sense of accomplishment that you're going to feel when your business has got to the level that you want to take it to, or to the next level, and then you can think ahead, well, where do I take it from here? That sort of thing. And of course, a lot of people use the visualization techniques in life. Imagine moving into the house of your dreams, one that you've built from scratch. You've had the plans drawn up and now it's built. And imagine walking up the path to the front door, opening the front door and walking inside, and you can see it all laid out exactly how you want it. This is the plan that you've done, that you've had drawn up, and now it's made, and there it is. And imagine the feeling of accomplishment that you're going to get. Or imagine driving the car that you've always wanted. Imagine opening the door and sitting in, and that lovely new car smell that you get. And imagine putting your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine turning the ignition key or pressing the start button and hearing the engine roaring. And imagine yourself driving it along a nice country road somewhere. That's the sort of thing that you can do. You can sort of see yourself actually doing this. And of course, in your romantic life as well, imagine being with the girl or the guy of your dreams. Maybe you have someone in mind already. Maybe you don't. Maybe you haven't met the right person yet. But imagine them in your mind. Imagine being with them. Imagine what it feels like when you're kissing. That's the sort of thing that you want to keep in mind. That's the goal that you want. And once you can see how it is going to be, then it makes you much more likely to accomplish that goal. And that's the true power of visualization. It trains your brain to recognize what efforts and resources are required to achieve your goal. And it creates motivation. If you can see the benefits of your completed goal, you'll want to get it accomplished ASAP. And it promotes positive thinking and boosts self-confidence. You now know that you have the power to get things done. You know that you can do it. You actually see it in your mind. You can see the end result. All you have to do is go out and get it. In this video, I want to talk about a technique called begin with the end in mind. And it's a very useful technique. The thing is, in life, in business, in just about anything, you need to figure out how you're going to get from where you are, here, to where you want to go, there. And you need to plan out the route. The only trouble is, if you don't know where there is, well, you could go anywhere. You could go all over the place, and you could not reach the destination that you want. You could miss it completely. That's why you need to know where you're going to go. That's why you have to begin with the end in mind. So a good technique is to actually start with the end, with the goal that you want to accomplish. You want to start there, and then you want to work your way back, say here. That's a very good technique. And the thing is, you probably use this technique already. You just don't realize it. Now, let's say you're in a strange city and you don't have sat-nav and you don't know your way around. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at a map, and you want to find two places on the map, where you are and where you want to go. And because where you want to go is the last place that you're going to find, chances are you're actually going to work back from where you want to go to where you are at this very moment. Now, let's say you're like the two women in the last slide, and you're in New York City and you need to find your way around. Let's say you're outside Bloomingdale's, which is here on East 59th Street, and you want to get to Rockefeller Plaza. Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look up on the map and you're going to see where Rockefeller Plaza is, which is over here. And then you're going to work out the best route from where you are at Bloomingdale's to Rockefeller Plaza. And you're probably going to do it by going backwards. You're going to go up Fifth Avenue. You're going to go along here up East 57th Street and probably here on Lexington Avenue. Then you'll turn again and then up here to East 59th Street, where you'll find Bloomingdale's. So you do this all the time in real life anyway. So how can you apply this in your life? Well, let's say you want to do something that lots of people want to do. Let's say you want to buy a new house. So the goal is buy a new house and move in. So let's start with that. Let's start with that end goal. Buy a house and move in. Well, what are you going to need to do before you can buy a house and move in? Well, unless you're fabulously wealthy or you've just come into a large inheritance, chances are you're going to have to apply for a mortgage and get approved. And in order to apply for the mortgage, there's two things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to save for a deposit because not many places will lend you 100% anymore. So you need to build up a nice pot of cash that you can put down as a deposit for the mortgage, and that will increase your chances of getting approved. But along with that, you're also going to need to build up good credit. And because getting good credit means you actually borrow money and then pay it back plus interest, it's hard to actually do that and save up at the same time. So you will need to build up your good credit so that you have the good credit. Then you can start putting the money aside for the deposit. Then you can apply for the mortgage, and then you can get approved, and then you can buy the house and move in. And of course, in order to get good credit, you need to get a good, well-paid job. So you can see here now, we've got all the steps in a row. You need to get a good, well-paid job. You need to build up good credit. You need to save for the deposit, apply for the mortgage and get approved, and then buy the house and move in. So you can see how you've got all the steps. But because you've worked backwards from your goal, from the end to the beginning, you know which step you need to take and in which order, because you can see what steps you're going to need to accomplish before you actually get to the step that you want. So again, you don't need to sort of set off in a vague direction of what you want. You actually know what you're going to get first, and then this, and then that, and then that, and so on, all the way along until you actually achieve your goal. Now, beginning with the end in mind comes from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And if you haven't read this, I strongly recommend that you get a copy of it and read it through. It talks about beginning with the end in mind and 6 other very good habits that successful people can get into. As you can see, you can pick up a copy from Amazon and other good bookstores, and it's well worth a read. But you'll find as you begin with the end in mind and work back towards where you are, your road to success will become a whole lot smoother.